Listen, I want us to get straight into this update on Galamsey, right? So Erastus posted on his page a video of massive earth moving equipment, basically decimating a forest area. And he said this was taken about 40 minutes ago. He put this up yesterday. This is a fresh illegal invasion of the Tano Anwia Forest Reserve. And these people are illegal miners with high-profile backing. To be able to have access to such a reserve without a license is almost impossible unless you have powerful people in government. Mr. President, this is not what you promised Ghanaians. Some of us fought this kind of impunity in the previous administration, so a new government can save our forests. There are currently 5 groups like this in this beautiful forest ready to destroy it without any license. As we speak, another group has also entered the Tano section of the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. Mr. President, if this does not have the backing of the powers given you by Ghanaians, then I expect this illegality to be vanquished. These are the words of Erastus Asaridonko, who joins us now over the phone. Erastus, good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
Now, you and I talked last night, and you talked about the sense of helplessness that seems to come with the constant revelation of these activities. Tell us about this latest incursion into our forest reserve. Oh, it would seem that we've lost the connection to Erastus there. Let's reconnect to him and get the details from him. But if you've seen that video, Fentu, it's deja vu.
It really is, and there is a related story to that is on citynewsroom.com, which says that 10 excavators, 1 bulldozer seized in the Tano Anwia Forest Reserve. So I'm sure Erastus can give us a bit more on that.
Here he is. Erastus, thanks for your patience. So tell us about this latest incursion into Tano Anwia.
So, Kojo, let me first say that these are protected forests. And so when we say protected forests, sometimes they are globally biodiversity significant areas. Scarce tree species that you cannot find anywhere in the world are found in these reserves. So we have Tano, which is a GSBA as well, and Tano Nimre, who is a production forest. Now, I've been talking about this invasion since the previous administration. They invaded the forest first. When we spoke about it, some of them removed their equipment. Soon as power changed hands, some NDC groups who think that their party is in power invaded the forest. Then more groups joined because no action was being taken. And that's why I wrote that post on my Facebook page. Now it has gotten a very swift reaction from government to tell me that, yes, the president doesn't support what is happening in the forest. So yesterday there was a raid in the Tano Anwia section. We have some groups disbanded, 10 excavators seized, 1 bulldozer. Though the Chinese miners and others were not arrested, they managed to flee the scene. But Kojo, I must say that as at 7 p.m. yesterday, there were 3 groups still operating within the Tano Anwia section. Those who are operating in the Tano Forest Reserve are still there. The Tano Nimre Forest Reserve invasion is still intact. They are working. As of this morning, I have fresh pictures from Ohiampenika village, which is an entry into the Tano Nimre section of the forest. So, as much as I say kudos to government, to the lands ministry, to the defense ministry, which has taken a very active part in this operation, and the forestry commission, I will want to say that the job is not done. We still have invasion still going on in some sections of Tano Anwia, in some sections of Tano, and in some sections of Tano Nimre, specifically Ohiam Penica, and Tano sections of the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve. These are not your usual mining places. If you want to mine, the law specifies that you come up with a method of mining, and it has to be special, given to somebody with a method of mining specifying data which indicates where the ore is. You don't just mine haphazardly like we are doing with no licenses. We have to be careful with these areas. And that is why I'm more particular about it. I don't hate anybody. It's not personal. It's about protecting this forest.
Some of these groups are backed by the NDC. Tell us how we came to know of that.
We have people who are behind these invasions. Let me say this again. I've been saying it. The forest area or forest reserves is strictly guarded by the Forestry Commission. You have forest guards everywhere. Even if you want to go and cut a pistol for pounding fufu, if you are in there cutting it, they will know and they will arrest you. That's how they arrest chainsaw operators. So to talk about leading excavators, heavy equipment like that, over 20 of them, into a forest reserve, it doesn't go unnoticed. But the fact that the Forestry Commission cannot arrest them, it tells you that there is somebody more influential, more powerful than the Forestry Commission who is authorizing that to happen. I know their names. I'm not going to mention it because they operate behind these people. They don't have their names on any document that you can quote. But they are the finance. They are the people who are behind them, giving them the power, the impetus to be able to penetrate such a forest reserve. And I think that it is high time the NDC party itself, if the chairman, Asiedun Ketia, is listening, should issue a statement that they are distancing themselves from such illegalities. The fact that people think that our government is in power and so we have to perpetrate the same illegalities that we fought the previous administration for is bad. And it must be discouraged. And that is what is happening. People feel that our government is in power, we suffered for them to come. The MPP, they chopped theirs, we have to come and we have to chop ours. It is not something to be chopped. If you want to mine, I think the laws are clear. Why don't you use the same power you have to go for a license? State clearly what method you're going to use to do that mining. Go through the right process and do your mining properly. Nobody hates that. But the way we are going, if anybody has the power, they just move excavators into the forest, and it's like a family food that everybody is grabbing. That way, we wouldn't have any forest left in years to come. And these are biodiversity significant areas that we can't afford to mine anyhow.
Now, Erastus, this raid that happened yesterday is probably the second in the space of a week. There was one earlier, I think on Tuesday, where several earth moving equipment was seized, but no arrests were made. Apparently, the Galamsees outnumbered the security officers. But tell me, were there any arrests yesterday?
Unfortunately, there was no arrest. There was no arrest made. And Kojo, I have a problem with the president's directive not to burn any excavators, especially in forest reserves. Off forest reserves, yes, we can seize them, take them through the necessary process. But to send a very strong signal in forest reserves on water bodies, I think those equipment should be immobilized. Because the moment excavator is very expensive, running into billions. If you immobilize one excavator, for the person to get money to bring back an excavator is serious.
You don't
That's
think
the only language that sometimes some people understand.
You don't think seizing them will have the same effect?
In forest reserves, no.
Yeah.
Because then it goes through the same hula baloo where currently, as I speak with you, the owners will be going from corridor to corridor begging, especially when these are people who are very influential people, will start begging and pushing money in certain quarters. Before you realize, the seats is gone, and it gets back into the same area you found them. And I'm talking with experience.
Right. Now, since the raid yesterday, you've mentioned that there are still other parts of the forest, like the Tano Nimri side, where there are still people in operation. Is there any indication from government that they intend to take action there?
Well, I am getting snippets of information from the team that went there, that they were not the ones leading the route, and so they were not taken to this site. So I want to believe that in the course of today, something will happen. If it happens, I will update our listeners, because as we speak, 3 groups who were perceived to be acting on the orders of the MP, if you remember, are still operating in Tano Anwia Forest Reserve as at 7 p.m. yesterday. We have other groups operating in Tano Nimre, specifically Ohiam Penika Datano sections of Tano Nimre Forest Reserve. We have some also operating in the GSBA Bointano Forest Reserve as we speak. This morning I have pictures from there. So I'm waiting to see what will happen in the coming days, and I'll still give updates on that.
Erastus, thank you for this update. We appreciate your time. Please stay safe out there.
Thanks.
And so that's our correspondent in the Asante region, Erastus Asaridonko. This thing is ridiculous.
Very unfortunate, Kojo. And for me, I don't know whether we are just not targeting the financiers of these things. For a whole, what do you call it, excavator, that can't be purchased by those people so-called in the community there. It's time that we go after these people, target their accounts and everything, freeze their accounts, make it impossible for financial institutions that are aiding the movement of funds for these individuals. Maybe it could help.
And, listen, the disturbing thing is that the security agencies, at an instance, at that town of forest, were actually outnumbered by the Galamseyers, who were armed. So the report is that on Thursday they got intelligence, after the Tuesday incident, on Thursday they got intelligence that the Galamseyers were trying to re-enter the forest, because on Tuesday they went to confront the Galamseyers, but they were outnumbered, so much so that they had to give up and literally leave. And then on Thursday they returned there with intelligence that they had re-entered the forest, only to not be able to make arrests because the Galamseyers were even more armed this time around.